Welcome to WatchMojo UK, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 WTF Boris Johnson moments.
Release the rings into position now.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Whether you love him or hate him, you can't deny that BoJo's been in some eyebrow-raising headlines. So for this list, we'll be looking at the most bizarre things the British Prime Minister has done.
It was all going well, and then not so well.
Let us know in the comments whether you're a BoJo lover or loather. Number 10, a low blow. As you'll see a couple more times in this list, Boris is no stranger to the sports field. Perhaps the most jaw-dropping of all his appearances has to be the football charity game against Germany. Things were looking all fine and friendly until Boris, like a man possessed, aimed his sights on retired player Maurizio Gordino.
Boris goes in! And Boris goes...
For whatever reason, instead of a competitive tackle, Boris decided to gore the soul out of him right below the belt.
And Maurizio Gordino will never forget the night he met Boris Johnson.
He was trying to make him there at the right moment as well. He's waiting for him coming in.
Did he forget he was playing footy and not rugby? Number 9. Use the force, Boris. Boris is used to having cameras in his face, but more often than not, he ends up doing something bizarre in front of them anyway. On this day, during the election campaign trail, Boris, equipped with his high-visibility jacket, visited a factory. When he raised his hand to the cameraman, something supernatural occurred. The cameraman had supposedly fallen backwards because of the pallet behind him, but we're convinced this was Star Wars-esque force at play. Whether he's a Jedi or a Sith Lord is up to you though. Number 8, impossibility of becoming Prime Minister.
I've got as much chances of being leader as that beagle has of finding Elvis Presley.
We were all surprised when Boris landed himself in number 10, but the man who seemed to doubt it would happen the most was him. A number of times when being interviewed, he expressed his disinterest in the role and how unlikely it would be, often making the same remark as to what would be more likely.
It is not going to happen. It is more likely that, as I say, I will be reincarnated as an olive or locked in a disused fridge or decapitated by a flying frisbee.
He even appeared on American talk shows saying how unlikely it would be. Of course, he did become Prime Minister, and nobody got decapitated by a flying frisbee. At least we don't think so.
My normal answer is all about a champagne cork. Right. Being blinded by a champagne cork, or being reincarnated as an olive, or locked in a disused fridge, or decapitated by a frisbee.
Number 7, blowing kisses. After the 2017 leadership debates, Boris Johnson had a bizarre clash with Labour chairman Ian Lavery, when an argument turned nasty.
I would have... You mean?
No, just wanted to know what your answer is. No,
stop being so rude.
Lavery claimed that Johnson had never used or visited a food bank, which the Conservative politician strongly objected to, telling him,
hang on a second, what I want to do...
You should take that back, old boy. Take it back.
As the discussion heated up, the pair began shouting, repeatedly pointing in each other's faces and accusing each other of being rude. When the BBC presenter tried to politely bring the interview to an end, Boris Johnson started blowing kisses to Ian Lavery. The whole conversation felt more like a secondary school scrap than a political debate, but at least Boris was willing to kiss and make up.
Out that nuclear deterrent.
Number 6, bizarre hobby.
I like to paint, or I make things.
Boris can sometimes make the most simple question very difficult. Appearing on Talk Radio, the interviewer tried to get more out of Boris's personal life, asking him what he does for fun. That's when Boris came out with this bizarre and convoluted explanation of his hobby, making bus models out of crates. Or something to that effect, at least.
I get old, wooden crates. Yeah. Right? And then I paint them.
The interviewer tried to hurry him along to the next question, but Boris wouldn't stop until he fully articulated his favourite pastime. It honestly sounded like he was making it up as he went along.
You're making buses. You're making cardboard buses. That's what you do to enjoy yourself.
I paint the passengers enjoying themselves.
Okay.
Number 5, Trickshot. Sports again, but this time you're going to be the one who's flawed, not one of Boris's opponents. While helping to promote the EuroLeague tournament, Boris took to the South Bank in London. Here he decided to display some of his basketball skills, and instead of falling flat on his face, this happened. Onlookers couldn't believe their eyes as Boris landed an impressive trick shot. We think he even surprised himself.
Well, let's be very clear, I was saving that up. I mean, I could have done it any time.
Number 4, hiding in a fridge. Early one morning on the 2019 campaign trail, Boris Johnson made headlines by hiding inside a fridge to avoid talking to GMB correspondent Jonathan Swain. This was weeks after Boris promised to come and talk to Piers and Susanna.
Morning, Prime Minister. Will you come on Good Morning Britain, Prime Minister?
The messy incident also saw one of Boris's minders swear at Swain live on air as they tried to stop anyone talking to the PM.
I'll be with you in a second.
Yeah, I have an earpiece here in my hands, ready to go. Right, he's been taken inside, into the freezer.
He's gone into the fridge.
There's a bunker.
He says he'll be with Swain shortly before vanishing into a large walk-in fridge and closing the door behind him, and he didn't re-emerge for some time. It became one of the election's most notorious moments.
Prime Minister, will you deliver on your promise to come on Good Morning Britain?
Of course I will.
Number 3, elephant trap. Why on earth Boris Johnson ever agreed to be on Have I Got News For You, we don't know.
No, he was a school friend, wasn't he?
Great chap, yeah.
And a great chap, despite being a convicted fraudster.
They were very obviously going to be on the attack that night, but he still came back multiple times. One of the most memorable has to be when some very dirty info was brought to light in front of him.
What are you not ashamed of, though, Boris?
Whatever there is not to be ashamed of.
On the episode, they discussed Boris's conversation with his once friend Darius Guppy, in which Darius allegedly asked Boris for the address of a reporter so that he could beat him up.
I'm way out of my depth here. I've been totally stitched up. I want it on the record. I've walked straight into a massive elephant trap. I should have spotted it.
Fortunately for the reporter in question, Boris wasn't the best journalist and couldn't provide the address.
He's quoting verbatim a conversation I had on the phone sort of 10 years ago.
Yeah, because it's a terribly funny transcript, which I have a copy of.
Number 2, the zip wire debacle. Depending on where you stand, this is either Boris Johnson's most iconic moment or his most embarrassing. During the 2012 London Olympics, he decided to take a bizarre route when celebrating Britain's first gold medal win. With 2 Union Jacks in hand, Boris went down a zip line expressing his joy over the victory. But it didn't go quite as planned.
It's going well, it's very, very well organised. What they do... Get me a ladder!
Apparently, earlier that day, the zip line had been reported as not working. But that didn't stop him as he used it anyway, and got stuck. It's a scene we'll never forget.
It was wonderful, and I thoroughly recommend it. I wouldn't want to have been up there all afternoon.
Number 1, the rugby game. If you thought that Boris's illegal maneuver against Maurizio was bad, then brace yourself. When in Tokyo, Japan, Boris Johnson decided to show off his rugby talents against some children. You'd think he'd hold back a little bit against the little guys, especially in a foreign country, but no! Boris laid little Toki Sekiguchi out with a big tackle, sending the boy crashing to the floor. It didn't spark any international incidents, and Toki fortunately wasn't injured. At least he shook his hand after it.
Are you okay? Yeah,
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo UK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.